All right, guys, now we're going to do another PSA bulk submission that I just got back. I've gotten a ton of orders over the past couple of days, and this one is the freshest one that I've got. This is a order that I submitted and was logged in March of this year. PSA actually damaged one of my cards in a previous order, so they offered to expedite this order, which is why I got it back so quick. This is probably the fastest bulk order that was processed this year, or close to it. So gonna jump right into it. 198 cards. Again, bought these cards right at the beginning of the year, got them in right before PSA shut down, and just got them back. So a lot of these cards are going to be cards that you've seen in previous bulks. A lot of these are bread and butter cards that at the time, for what PSA was charging for their fees, just really made sense to get these cards in PSA holders, regardless if they're 8s, 9s, 10s. Just really took advantage of the low pricing that they had at the time. So you'll see a lot of these are just the same type of cards that I grade, and there's still a market for it. There's clearly people who are buying these. I just sold a lot of 7 of these through Ricky or Probstein recently for over $120 a piece. The PSA 9s are bringing $50 a piece from what I'm averaging. So definitely a really good market for these cards. And whenever you're buying these at $10, $15 a piece, it just makes sense to get them graded. So we'll go through here really quickly. No need to pump up Kobe's second year finest cards. I think everybody knows that Kobe is great and lots of people collect him, and that's kind of that. Geez, I've got a bunch of these. Got a lot. Yeah, so with these cards, so I typically sell everything through consignment. I'm actually going to post some of these cards for sale on blowout forums just for a couple of days before I end up going to a show for this weekend. I'm not going to be able to set up at the show. There's a wait list, so if anybody would like to do any kind of big deals, I'm going to try and offload some of this stuff and potentially trade and or sell before I send them out for consignment. So yeah, these aren't going to go directly to consignment. They are going to be offered up for sale first, and anybody who wants to pay the asking prices, I will sell. And if not, they'll go straight to consignment. So I like to get this money train flowing. All right, so next stack, got a couple of these stacks here. So another Kobe silver. Struck out on gems on that one. I was really hoping to get a gem for the silver version. 99 finest sensations. That's the parallel, not a parallel, but a subset. 2000 finest PSA 9, PSA 9. Then we have a 10 and a 6. See if I can find out what's wrong with the 6. Probably a surface wrinkle. It looks like there's a minor surface dent on the back, and then also a corner issue. So you'll see a lot of these cards. You're going to see some cards with creases, all sorts of things in this order. Again, if you don't watch this channel that much, or if you're just now tuning in, I like to send in cards and get them graded somewhat regardless of the grade. Obviously, I'm picky. I've been very picky, but over time I transitioned into, I would rather not have someone pay for cards raw that have significant flaws and me not disclose them. So again, occasionally you'll see cards like this that have flaws, for which I know that they have flaws, but it's just better to have the card slabbed. And at the prices back whenever I submitted these, totally makes sense. Like, even these 6s are probably going to be break-even cards. So would I rather break even on a card and have it be slabbed as a lower grade? Absolutely, totally. Now prices are getting pretty expensive, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that just to slab cards for the sake of slabbing cards. I think those days are probably long gone, and probably rightfully so. That was the past couple of years, was just you send in any card for the most part with a decent shot at getting gem mint, or of a great player, and you're going to be doing very well. So I think those days are probably long gone. This is a really cool card. 2004 Bowman Chrome, Kobe PSA 10. I actually have 2 of these in the order, so you're getting ready to see the next one. Really like Bowman Chrome. Bowman Chrome's a somewhat underrated set in comparison to Topps Chrome and even Finest. So as you can see, I bought a lot of Kobe Shine. So just seeing what Lebron Shine stuff goes for, I don't really see any reason why Kobe shine isn't going to do the exact same thing. Lots of fans of it. You know, if you look at Michael Jordan shiny stuff, whether it be base finest cards or Topps Chrome, he didn't have a lot of Topps Chrome cards, but he had some finest. Those all do very, very well. Now, granted, Kobe and LeBron are playing 20-year careers, and thus they have a lot more cards out there, compared to Michael. They're still very collectible. This is a card that whenever I submitted this, you know, a couple months ago, this card in PSA 9 form was over $300. I think it's now hovering around 100 to 125, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. And you'll see this card has so this card is flawed, and I've noticed in the bulk orders that I'm getting back, the cards appear like they're overgraded. Like, I clearly think that the bulk orders are not getting the scrutiny that the high-end orders are getting. So if you've seen some of my high-end orders here that are coming back from PSA, I truly think that they're sticking the top-notch graders on those. And the lower-end orders, yeah, the gem rate on this is pretty low. I think it's around, you know, in the 40% range. It's because I'm not being very critical of the cards that I'm sending in. Obviously, sending these back in, you know, again, if they come back 6s and 7s, I'm still gonna do okay. The fact that, you know, I'm getting some high grades like 9s and 10s on cards that have flaws just makes me really think that, you know, PSA is either one, back to normal, or two, the bulk orders are just really not getting a lot of attention. So this is a big card. It's a PSA 10 Fast and Furious refractor of Kobe, and fortunately, both of the ones that I submitted both came back 10s. And really, back to back to back, this is a huge card. I haven't looked at the pop report on this, but just a Kobe and Shaq Chrome card at the peak of their, you know, three-peat PSA 10 grade. That is a really cool card. I forgot that this card existed. So whenever I came across it, definitely wanted to pick one up. Probably going to buy a couple more, as I don't have any others that are out for grading right now. You also see I graded a ton of these select cards. I got all of these from the same dealer, and just about every single one of them came back 9. It was an international dealer, I believe out of China, I believe, and surface on these is just pretty pathetic. You know, I did not send in a bunch of them actually that were just really terrible. So I did send in the ones that you know, looked like they were 9 worthy. You know, the one thing that I noticed on these slabs is, I don't think I've ever noticed this, is like it has PSA in the background, like that hologram. You know, it does have the waves and the security features or whatever, but I don't think I ever noticed the PSA in the background. For some reason, I just now noticed that. Shows how much I really look at my cards, right? So yeah, I got 9 down on a lot of those selects. But again, the 9s are fine, and they will do just fine. Said fine twice. Kind of ruined the joke. All right, so still gonna keep on with Kobe's. Don't think that we're getting out of the Kobe stash yet. Go through these 9s really quick. Now we're getting into some MJ. All right, now it's not Bulls MJ, it's Wizards MJ, but NBA licensed MJ, especially shiny MJ, that's what I like. Got all these from the same seller, and I forget how many of these I had, but yep, finest MJ. Again, somebody wants to complete the finest PSA 10 set of MJ, they gotta buy Wizards, so that means I gotta buy these. 2002-2003 finest. Last year of Michael Jordan's career. Really cool cards. Shiny MJ is the best MJ. Absolutely love shiny MJ. Somewhat on a little bit of a, I guess, down low is Dwayne Wade. So a lot of his refractors and parallels have started to pick up, especially in gem mint grades. So bought both of these from, I believe, the same seller. And this is a set that grades out very well. So decided to snag those. Those are actually going to do very well, in my opinion. I think they're going to be over a couple $100 a piece, or over $100 a piece. All right, now we're going to get into some boring stuff, because I've got a million of these Jayson Tatums, and we'll have stretches of 9s, and we're going to have stretches of 10s, but overall definitely more 10s than 9s, which I'm okay with. I've graded this set so many times. I would say In aggregate, I've graded over probably 100 of the Tatums, if not more. And all these are my personal cards. These are not cards that I do not do group submissions for anyone. These are all mine. But yeah, I've graded over 100 Jayson Tatums, probably over 100 Patrick Mahomes. You know, back whenever the product came out, I was buying Donovan Mitchell, and I graded a lot of Mitchells, including some parallels. But you know, back then, optic was really not that sought after. 2017, optic was still trying to really make a name for itself in comparison to Prism. I actually like it way better than Prism. There's less of it out there. The cards are clean. There's usually defined borders. You know, I like borders on my cards. It just has a very nice chromium feel. You know, it's a chrome version of the base Donruss set. You know, it just feels like more of a tops to tops chrome vibe as opposed to a standalone product like Prism that it's just mass-produced shiny garbage, in my opinion. Doesn't matter if it's a rookie or it doesn't matter if it's a veteran. Prism, outside of the first 2 years to me, maybe the third year, you could say maybe the third year, is really just trash, in my opinion. Optic, not so much. I actually really like Optic. I think it's a very well executed set by Panini, or Pupini. All right, so we got lots of 8s and 9s mixed in. I'm not really paying super attention to the cards, so apologies if you're wanting a really thorough investigation of these cards. I'm also trying to keep these videos a little bit shorter than what they have been doing. I think my last couple of bulks have been running close to an hour long, and nobody wants to sit around and listen to me talk for an hour. So if I can keep it a little bit quicker than that, then that's good news for everybody. Oh gosh. So anybody want to buy these? Anybody want Jayson Tatum? He's going to be the next greatest thing. He's going to be the greatest NBA player of all time. Hee JK. Actually, there's probably going to be a lot of people speculating on Tatum for next year, assuming Celtics are healthy. But again, don't really see him competing against the Nets. It's not going to happen. They're not going to outcompete the Nets, and they're probably not going to outcompete the Bucks either, because they didn't this year, even though they weren't fully healthy. But all right, so now we're going to some yellows and then some Diamond Kings optics. So these actually graded out very, very well. Love this set. Love that Patrick Mahomes has cards from this year. I really, really, really do. Huge fan of that 2017 optic set. All right, that's a really cool card and unique. So yeah, I've got a ton of base, but also we got next. This is a difficult card to grade because of the card stock. So really, really nice. Hopefully that one does pretty well. Rookie Revolution. So I've graded a bunch of these. This one actually looks pretty good. Definitely doesn't have the flaws like some of the other cards that I've shown have, but yeah, so that one's a pretty sharp looking 9. Very sharp looking 9. Then you got an Essentials. It's the base card. I can't tell the difference between the different colors, like the colors on these: bronze, silver, gold. You know, I'm basically colorblind. Might as well just be black and white for me. All right, Sage Hit Premier Draft. Who would have thought that I'd be buying Sage products? Well, if it's got Patrick Mahomes on it and it's a rookie, or even if it's not a rookie, I'm probably going to buy it. So 2 9s, got a 10. 10s are pushing almost $200. Like literally, these cards were $10 to $15, and PSA 10s are popping for $200. So that definitely takes the cake. Patrick Mahomes. So this came back a 6, and it's really, really beat up. It's got dinged corners. Probably has a crease in it somewhere. I can't remember all of these cards. Like, it's got goo on the back of it. I honestly can't remember sending in some of these cards. I'm sure that I did, but I mean, just looking at them in the cases, I'm like, wow, these cards are really, really in bad shape. PSA 10 Patrick Mahomes here. So this is an example of a card that is overgraded. Thank you, PSA, for giving me the PSA 10, but the grader missed this. So if you look at that corner, see that corner right there, bottom right? Overgraded. So I'm not afraid to show my serial number and my cards on camera and showing you that the card is overgraded. This is about a $700-800 card. You know, this is probably should be a PSA 7, maybe PSA 6 to PSA 8, depending on how bad you determine that to be. So it's a value difference of like $500. So I'll take the mistake, but I'm also honest with my cards. So a lot of people will say, oh, Tyler, you're complaining about grades in some of your previous videos. Well, okay, no, I'm being fairly honest. Like, the consistency is something that we want for, for all of us really. And even this card, I looked at it as well. See on the top edge here, it's got two edged like issues. I don't know if that light is picking it up or not, but again, this card graded out a PSA 10. It's not what I expected. I put this card in the front because I expected, these grades usually go from bad to better. It's usually how I arrange the cards. Now, obviously the grader could have changed them up while they're there, but yeah, that card graded a PSA 10, and I don't think that it's a PSA 10. I would have happily accepted a 9. I would have looked it over, and that would have been that. But then there's cards that I get that are 9s, and the 9s look like they could be in 10 holders. So, occasionally there are some mix-ups. And I would say my last 2 bulk orders specifically, it looks like the consistency has dropped just a little, and the cards feel like they're getting overgraded. Again, I have a 40% gem rate on this, but I feel like even then, as I look at the cards, I feel like they're getting a little bit overgraded. Not all of them, but just there'll be a couple of things like that stick out. And again, there's a lot of cards here, 200 of them. If I find 4 or 5 examples, it's still a pretty good rate, for sure, in terms of the accuracy of the grader. Like, I don't have a lot of things that I'm really picking with the grader in terms of what they're grading the cards. Having said that, I can clearly tell there's a big difference in express, regular, those high-end order super express, how those cards are being assessed versus bulk. If you throw cards into a bulk order, you got a better shot at, if there's flaws, the card gemming. If the card has flaws and it's in a regular express or super express order, good luck. You're not getting a gem mint card. Those are the orders that I feel like are getting hammered. And it makes sense, right? PSA has a declared value system, and that declared value system, if a card has flaws, they're not going to give it a gem mint assignment because they're on the hook for that from an insurance perspective, right? So they have to stand by their grades. On these low-end cards like this, yeah, you could get a big card pop like this Clayton Kershaw, for example. This PSA 10 is a huge PSA 10. Like, if this was a PSA 10, we're looking at a $700-800 card. This one's probably in that 500 range. So that's no chump change, right? A PSA 9 and a PSA 10 difference, it's a difference of, a lot, a couple $100. But whenever you're talking several $1,000s, that probably raises the flags for PSA. And they're going to be much more critical and really review those cards. They're probably, I'm conjecturing, they're probably spending more time. It's probably going through more graders' hands. There's more scrutiny on the big cards. It just feels that way, and in my experience, that's what I am seeing is, the high-end cards are getting graded harsher, and it's in PSA's best interest to grade them harsh from a liability perspective compared to the low-end cards where it's like, if you throw a PSA 10 or a 9 here or there, what's the difference in the grand scheme of things? So I told you there's gonna be some crease cards in here. Beautiful crease right there. Look at that, guys. Right through there. See if I can pick that up in the light. Hopefully you guys are seeing that. Beautiful crease. Perfect looking 3. It's a really good looking 3. And yes, of course, I knew that card had a crease. Again, I did not want to sell this card with a crease on it. All right, so this one came back an 8, and actually, I would love to pull this card out and show you what this card looks like compared to the 8s that I got in a different order, in a higher end order. This card looks much worse compared to the 8s that I got in a different order. At least I think. I'm going from recollection. It's got a top edge issue here. It's got a dinged corner down here. The surface looks like it's okay as long as I don't spit on the card. Looks like this corner has like a roll to it. Looks like that corner has a little bit of a roll to it. The centering is not great left to right. Top to bottom, it's not the best either, but it's got a lot of issues with it. Whereas some of the other ones in the high-end orders, those 8s look like they just have some minor touches on the corner, and that's like it. So yeah, definitely think that the high-end orders are getting graded with a little bit more scrutiny. All right, so Fleer rookies, PSA 9s for our Fleer rookies. And it's not every order. I don't want to make a blanket statement and say that it's every card in every order. I mean, you'll see just some examples here or there. And in my opinion, I do think that the bigger orders are getting graded just a little bit more difficult. All right, so we've gone through Clayton Kershaw. We've gotten some KDs. I think I have a big KD coming up, hopefully. Yep, there he is. So beautiful, beautiful Bowman Sterling, PSA 10. So this is a big card. This card was a 4-figure card at the peak of the season. It's dropped a little bit down in the above the $500 range. So probably going to hold on to a couple of these high-end Kevin Durant's. I'm going to sell the rest of them, but anything that's graded a PSA 10, definitely something to hang on to and speculate. Dirk Nowitzki, PSA 10, very, very, very nice. Sharp looking PSA 10, really nice. And then I got a 9, and I got an 8. That one's got two surface dimples. And I would say that's probably the big issues, maybe a back edge issue. All right, molten metal, these are always tough grades. Surface issue, I feel like the surface on these is probably the big issue because corners and edges are usually cut pretty good. Could be centering as well. Centering, I don't know if it's this width to that width or that width to that width. Don't really know, don't really care. Grader, I don't know if they know or care either. Because the reason why I don't care is because there's always big cards like this that really make it up. Hear this? I didn't even notice that card had a rattle to it, but it's a metal card, so that's why it's making a lot of noise. And there's nothing that's probably going to damage the card. Even if I do this all day long, it's probably not going to damage the card because it's metal. But this is a really, really cool card. Very nice for a potential Dirk Nowitzki collector who is looking for this because I believe these may have been like 1 in every 2 packs, but it had a massive set to it. And a lot of them still haven't been graded. Next up, Russell Wilson. You also have graded a ton of these guys. Just sold a lot of 7, I believe, for on average 120 a piece or so. So yeah, that one's doing pretty good, especially for football season. LeBron James, some shiny LeBron James gem. I'm definitely going to sell my LeBron. I definitely don't want LeBron in my collection, but I'll continue to make money off of him. All right, so these guys, you can see those surface flaws. You better believe I saw that whenever I submitted the card, and of course, I wanted to have it graded so that I didn't sell that to somebody and they end up returning it or complaining about the surface. Now it's accurately graded. Those surface issues knock it down to an 8, and it'll have that value. It'll probably actually sell better than raw, I would say, because it's slabbed. Same thing with this PSA 9. Very, very happy with this. I mean, the card's off center, left to right, top to bottom, not perfect. So for this to come back a 9, very, very happy. Like, I'm ecstatic. Great. Then, of course, we got some more Gem Mint Shine LeBron. So PSA 10 Bowman Chrome 2008. This is the last year of Bowman Chrome. And no, that is not a line on the card, a horizontal line. That is a line for, this is the part of the card itself. So I've looked at multiple copies because that also threw me off whenever I first got it. But nope, that is part of the card. This is a cool card. So second year Hoops LeBron. Definitely got on a second year gig a little bit. This is a cool looking photo. I'm not gonna lie. They have some really cool second and third year cards for LeBron, and a lot of them haven't taken off all that much. There's a couple that have taken off, but that one hasn't. Then, of course, I've graded this card in a different order. Hopefully you all saw that video. This one came back the other one came back a PSA 10. This one came back a PSA 9. And it looks like corners are probably the big thing holding this one back, but yeah, pretty happy with that. Really like grading these second year inserts from LeBron. I think that those are pretty underrated. Next up, graded a lot of these guys, some 9s, some 10s. So this one came back a 9. So it's probably about $40 or so. Then boom, got another big Mike Trout. Just sold 2 of these for $1,250. So right around $600 a piece. Really, really, really love this. I love grading these cards. I'm going to keep buying them. I'm going to keep grading them. They're not the best grades, as most people The raw ones now, they have surface issues. If there's no surface issues, these cards are easy grades. But again, most people are grading cards now, so if you do find them raw, more than likely it's going to have surface flaws with it. Last but not least, for this stack, got a Travis Kelce Topps rookie PSA 10. Big fan of Travis Kelce, arguably the greatest tight end of all time from an offensive perspective. I guess there's only one perspective for tight ends. They only play offense, so maybe he's the greatest of all time. I guess what I mean is from catching and touchdowns and that whole 9 yards. Definitely think that he is one of the best. All right, last couple stacks. We'll go through these here really quickly. And got lots of cards on camera, like it. All right, so Travis Kelce, Topps, PSA 9, like it. Another Topps PSA 9, beautiful card, very sharp. PSA 10, so I got 2 10s, and I think the rest of them are 9s. Yeah, these these are cards that you definitely would probably are good speculative cards going into the football season, and probably at the end of the football season. Chiefs, I think, are going to come out with a vengeance. Huge Patrick Mahomes fan, so this one came back a 9. Beautiful card. Does have some surface issues on it. Centering is probably a little off too, so I'm happy with that 9 grade. But this, beautiful. Travis Kelce Topps Chrome Refractor PSA 10. Talk about a card that's got some potential, man. I don't think that I would necessarily want to sell this at current market value. That's probably one that is going to get held on to for a little bit. And then we got a Rookie Sensations. So this card, I bought it. The seller did not disclose this, but again, it has a crease. All these cards that have creases on it, this is a very small crease. Very faint. It doesn't go all the way through the card, which is why it's a 6. If it goes all the way through the card, I think it dings it automatically to a 3 or a 4. This is a very light crease, so it is a 6. But yeah, seller didn't disclose it, so thanks a lot. But these Gem Mint cards make up for it. So extra points red autograph. I don't know if that's red or redemption. I think it's red because the color's red. But I am red-green colorblind, so rely on you all to help me out with that. This is PSA 10. Low pop, definitely low pop. Again, with all these Travis Kelce Gem Mint cards, probably going to hang on to at least a couple of them, because I think as long as Patrick Mahomes is throwing him the pigskin, there is going to be there's definitely going to be some highlights and some records that are getting broken in Kelce's career. I mean, he's already broken a couple, so he's broken some big ones, but his career is just so bright. Also have the Prism PSA 10. I've tried to buy and grade a ton of these, and I will say PSA does not want to hand out gems on these that easy. They are very difficult grades, and 2013 Prism was not a difficult card to get graded. I mean, I graded a ton of Giannis and a ton of Giannis color back in the day, and for the most part, I don't ever remember getting 9'd on them. But Kelce, man, I cannot get Gem Mint stuff on Kelce. Again, following up with Chiefs, Tyreek Hill, Optic Hollow. These have surface issues galore on them. None of these cards are in good shape. Probably because they've been in monster boxes, banging against the cardboard, and yeah, just really not great cards. All right, DeAndre Hopkins. This is a huge card. Light blue Pulsar Prism PSA 10. I think one of the last ones of these may have sold in between. It's like $600, $700, $800. This is a buy it now best offer, and I can't check the listing, but looks like these things are doing very well. So that's probably one of the big cards in the order. And also, last but not least, Kevin Durant Silver Prism. I believe this is the courtside parallel for that year. So courtside parallel silver. I've got a bunch of greasy hands apparently, so I'll have to wipe these down a little bit. But yep, that one's a PSA 10. Beautiful card, and for the greatest Olympic basketball scoring player of all time. So it's pretty cool to have that uniform on. So we will transition over. That was a pretty good stack. I like that. I like the diversity in that stack compared to some of these other ones where it's the same card over and over and over. I'm sure it's boring for you all, but having different types of cards is probably a little better. All right, so I think this is probably going to be one of those orders that's also a little bit diverse, at least in the beginning. So Steph Curry Silver Prism. This is the Premier version, I believe. So yeah, Premier version. Came back in 9, but then we have a Prism SP Variations Silver Prism. So the variations were all Silver Prism. There's nothing special about it. These cards used to be really cheap, but because people like Silver Prism nowadays, they're starting to take off. So I decided to buy a couple of these, and I'm still on the watch for early Prism Silver from superstars like Curry, LeBron, and also Kobe. Obviously LeBron and Kobe for sure, but Curry I think is pretty undervalued. You know, whenever you can see some of those pop up, definitely snatch them up. So I think that's honestly going to be the last cards in the order, because the rest of these are all select cards that, again, I got from that same individual. I got one PSA 10 out of the batch. The rest of these are literally all 9s, which, yeah, it is what it is. I was expecting maybe to get you know, maybe 4 or 5 10s maybe, but these cards weren't in the best condition. So kind of is what it is. I can't believe I have this many. Oh, I got 2. I did get 2 10s. Okay. 9, 9, 9, 8. I got 1 8. All right, that 8 made up for the 10 that I got, I guess. All right, so we're right at around 30 minutes or so, give or take, and that is all of them. So again, all these cards are gonna be posted up for blowout. I don't know if I'm gonna get this video up by the time that I have them for sale. I hope that I do, but I'm also don't want to bombard everyone with videos nonstop, so kind of want to space them out a little bit. Hopefully you guys like this. This is an order that's going to have about $21,000 in value for the 198 cards. You know, the ROI on this, you know, I will likely do a video on whenever these cards go up for sale and break down the financials of this as well, because I know a lot of people do like that type of content and analysis. So if there's anything you like, definitely let me know down below. This is one of the last bulk orders that I have. I have 4 more from PSA that are still at PSA, but this is the last bulk order that I have in hand. So again, likely going to sell all of these cards, and then have 2 more in the grading phase, and then 2 more that are in the research phase. So likely in another month or 2, I'll probably have another bulk order that comes by. But you know, overall, pretty solid order. I'll probably make around 80, 90, maybe 100% ROI on this one. So thanks for checking the video out, guys, and we will see you next time.